You want to live longer?
Always.
Anybody out there want to live longer too? I'm going to help you as well, because today I want to share with you ways or even just simple hacks to extend your lifespan.
Ooh,
actually call it health span.
Health span.
Yeah, because it's not just about a longer life. If you lived the last 40 years of your life in shitty shape, wouldn't it not really be ideal?
That would be far less than ideal.
Right,
actually.
so let's make sure that we're not just going for the quantity, but the quality too.
Quality of life is always important.
Right off the bat. How's your sleep been, pal?
No shit, I'm not living very long, am I?
How's your sleep been? Look, sleep is a very challenging thing for most of us, but I can tell you this, you cannot sleep on your sleep in terms of extending your lifespan.
Right.
It literally is the place where our bodies do all the things we need to do to restore our health. It's the one opportunity a day when our body shuts down and attempts to restore itself.
Yeah.
Now, make sure you're sleeping in a cool room.
Okay, that makes sense.
Your body needs to cool itself down by 1 to 3 degrees in order to optimize this recovery process. So you want to make sure that you're using extra blankets if need be, but make sure that the room is cooler. Okay. A lot of us don't like to sleep in really cold rooms, but I'm telling you, for the benefit of your long-term health, it's actually a good thing.
I'll tell you, I love sleeping in a cold room, and I end up throwing my blanket off the bed in the middle of the night because I'm so hot.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I heard, you like to sleep naked.
Well, how do you know that?
Next thing is, you want to make sure that you are also waking up and going to bed at the same time.
Okay, that's something I struggle with.
Interestingly, even if you are not sleeping as much as you should, which you should, and there's again a lot of debate about what the ideal amount of sleep is, even if you're not sleeping, let's say the ideal 7 hours a night, if you're at least going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, you're going to see better benefits in terms of recovery.
Okay, that
right?
Makes sense.
And our good friend Andrew Huberman talks about the benefits of making sure you have exposure to natural sunlight early in the morning to reset that rhythm. Again, these are practices that you want to make sure that you're starting if you're not doing them right now.
Okay.
Because sleep in the regularity of sleep is very, very important. One last thing regarding sleep too, fighting the drowsiness at night, not a good idea.
Really?
No, give into it and go to bed. Okay. And again, ideally you'll start to teach your body to kind of shut down at a certain time, and that will help you to maintain that regular bedtime every single night.
Okay. Number 2.
Actually, this is interesting for you and other young guys. Okay. Do you ever get regular blood work done?
No.
You should.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, regular blood work is one of the most impactful ways that you can get ahead of the game when it comes to seeing if there's something going wrong before it's too late. Okay. And especially when it comes to the younger population out there, having your regular blood work done early gives you a good baseline for reference down the road. Okay. I wish I was doing blood work years ago, but I didn't really see a need for it in my 30s, and I wish now I could look back and see what I was doing and what my blood work was like. You know, and especially nowadays, guys are sort of being very focused on their testosterone levels or, you know, their ability to perform in the gym or even in the bed. And they don't know what they were doing before. They don't know what their status was when they were younger.
Almost like what their baseline was.
Yeah, or, you know, even PSA levels for men, you know, prostate. Like if you have your baseline levels and you know what you should be, even sometimes the higher levels that appear a little bit out of range might be normal for you if historically you've been there. So make sure you get your blood work done regularly. And again, even if you have to sort of pay out of pocket, I think it's an expense that's well worth it if you could have some of that insight that you may not have right now.
What if you're like me and you can't read that blood work?
There are more than enough resources out there, even free resources now where people understand what the blood work is. I always point people to Peter Attia, Dr. Attia, because he actually tells you certain blood work parameters that you should be looking at that a lot of times your doctor doesn't even give you, right? ApoB, things like that. The next thing, on that note, don't skip your physical.
Oh man, I haven't gone to a physical in like 10 years.
Right. My dad is a physician. I don't want to go to my dad for a physical. It just feels a little awkward. But I think he's instilled in me the benefit of making sure you go for a regular physical. Because it's not always just the internal chemistry that you're on the lookout for. It can be external signs. Swollen glands, swollen lymph nodes, right? Things that are outwardly visible that a trained physician will be able to notice. And again, you can get ahead of the game. I think the hardest part about recovering from health issues is waiting too long. We've all had the grandfather who said, I'm just going to ignore it because I don't want to hear the bad news. Yep. That's just not good because there's a lot of advances these days that allow us to get ahead of the game and do something about it if we only know what's going on. Okay. And I implore my viewers out there to make sure that they're going for their physical, they're getting a regular blood work.
So far I'm 0 for 3 on this one.
You're 0 for 3. You're not doing so good. Next thing. Mobilize, this is something you're good at. Okay. Mobilize your thoracic spine.
I am good at that. I took that into practice big time when you worked on my posture.
100%. For those that are unaware what we're talking about, the thoracic spine is right about from here to here. Okay, from here to here. I can't even show, there we go, right here. This area of your spine, I believe, is the epicenter of postural breakdown and performance breakdown, because once you start to lose mobility through that area of your spine, everything else comes with it. People like to focus on the pelvis, saying it's the center of mass. The problem is, as the spine, because it's a connected unit, starts to bend and fall forward and lose its mobility, the pelvis will come along with it. So posture starts to break down from the top down and from the bottom up because of the loss of the thoracic spine.
Okay.
Movement through the thoracic spine is limited to a total number of degrees. So you have a certain amount of degrees of flexion and extension, and you have a certain number of degrees of rotation. As you lose degrees of motion in this plane forward, you are going to lose rotation too.
Okay.
So your ability to actually become functional is lost when you lose that extension ability. So as I start to bend you this way because of just sitting too much, and then I try to rotate you can't rotate nearly as much as you can when you're actually upright and moving. You can even experience that right now. Anybody that's watching right now, try it. Try to rotate from a nice tall posture, and then try to rotate from a bent posture. You're gonna see there's a big, big difference.
I also felt that once I started working on my thoracic spine, I started feeling better. Like my upper back didn't feel so tight all the time. It felt like I was able to just sit upright normally. And
right.
And it wasn't such a labor to do
I'm telling you, it's the epicenter of all functional loss, because as you let it go, it brings everything else with it. So what would you do? People have seen foam rollers. You put the foam roller across that middle portion of your upper back, and you work on those restricted areas.
Okay.
5 minutes a day, that's all it takes, but it's the consistency that matters. You can even do it sitting in a chair like we are right here, where you find that tight spot right across that area, and you try to lean back over it. Again, trying to use the chair to push into the spine at that level that seems restricted to give you that chance to actually extend over the back of it.
Okay.
So maintaining extension is critical. Next thing, talking about chairs, sit less. They actually call sitting the new smoking.
Really?
It's become linked to so many bad things. And even if you're an active person like us, we do tend to sit a lot.
Yeah.
And sitting is just not good for your body. There's a lot of that stasis that happens. In other words, just your body is sort of in a static state with not a lot of circulation going on because of the sitting. It's just not a healthy practice, and the easiest way to do something about it is just to set an alarm or alert on your phone to get up ideally once every 30 minutes or at worst once every hour.
Okay.
And 5 minutes. See if you can just go for a little bit of a walk. If you're working in an office setting, go to the water fountain. Go talk to one of your coworkers for a little bit, but stay up on your feet and move a little bit.
Okay.
All right, but it's really important not to allow yourself to lose track of time, and the next thing you do, you look up and you've been sitting for 3 hours. Ooh. Right? Or you've been on a call or a business meeting. Even in a business meeting, turn your video off, stand up, loosen up a little bit, walk around your office, come back and sit down.
Now I'm nervous. I've been sitting here for a few minutes. I feel like I need to stand and walk around.
Right. If you're watching the video, you're probably already up taking my advice. But as I said, sitting is the new smoking. It's not a good practice for you to do that. The next thing, you need to release your stress. The number one reason why people suffer, according to some physicians, suffer from poor health outcomes over a lifespan is by holding on to our stresses.
It's like a mismanagement of stress.
Yeah, because stress is normal.
Yeah.
Stress happens. The people in our lives can cause stress.
Yes,
a lot of
Jeff.
times, the people we love
Yes.
can cause stress. The reason is because we care about them. We care about what they think of us, and we care about what they say.
Yeah.
But what's happening is that we get stressed by what they say to us or ask us to do or not do, and we don't express how it makes us feel. Okay. And becoming better communicators about our stress is critically important if you want to see long-term health and high-quality health. I can't underscore this enough. A lot of us clam up and we do not express when we're feeling this stress. You have to get in a better practice of expressing it to the people so that you can get it out. The next thing you can do is actually related to that. It's actually physically getting it out.
Oh.
And that's through training.
That's what I like to do.
Yes, and literally lifting weights here can become one of the best stress reducers. You might think it's like, oh, I just feel like I'm getting out this energy, but it's actually the ability to exert force, to actually be able to physically exert force that you can't do to the person who stressed you out without suffering the penalties of that. You need to be able to exert force, and that triggers the same response in your body to releasing the stress.
So I have an interesting anecdote about that.
Okay.
I used to be like in college and high school and everything. I was very stressed out all the time, and I was always very tense in my upper back, especially my traps. But I noticed that when I started lifting weights regularly, that tightness kind of went away.
Right.
And that feeling of just being locked up all the time really wasn't there as much as it used to be. And I noticed now that I don't go through those problems anymore, or having that problem anymore, because I train so regularly. And I think that's a big benefit to that.
There's something related to that too, in that weakness is oftentimes associated with or felt as tightness or stiffness. And that's because your body wants to have stability, especially through the upper back and spine. And if you're weak in those muscles, which we chronically are, then what happens is those areas tend to tighten up to provide the stability. So it's sort of an artificial stability that does not serve us well.
Okay.
In other words, the restrictions or the muscle tightnesses are providing that stability that the spine likes, but in a completely ineffective way, right? And if we want to do something about it, when we get stronger in there, then we release those tensions because we have the actual strength to provide the stability that the spine wants. So that's a sort of an additional side effect of that. Okay. But we're talking about training for strength, and we're talking about doing it through resistance training. And it does not have to be with weights. I like to always say use weights. It does not have to be with weights. We can provide adequate stimulation and resistance training with the use of our own body weight, but you can't just run. Yeah. You can't just be a runner. Like you're not gonna have the highest quality of life if you're not using resistance training, because weakness is going to cut the legs out from even the healthiest person, because as you get older, we see it all the time, people who get weak do not do well.
Right.
And once you fall when you get older, everything starts to go downhill rapidly. Mm-hmm. So if you maintain your levels of strength and prioritize being strong through consistent engagement in resistance training, you're going to be so much healthier. I have it all the way down the list here, but I think it can be almost all the way up at the top.
Okay.
All right, the next thing, eat more fiber. It has lots of effects on stabilizing blood sugar, right? Cholesterol levels. There's a lot of additional medical benefits of it. But for me, as a fitness person, the most effective thing I see when I have people increase their fiber intake, which is often way too low, is a feeling of fullness that allows for a much more effective attack plan for nutrition.
Okay, so you can be a little bit more forgiving in your diet, you think?
Well, I think it becomes automatically more forgiving, because as you eat more fiber, you feel more full, and that allows you to not have the cravings. It has less likelihood to overeat. You know, there's so many benefits to having more fiber in the diet that almost self-corrects some of the flaws that we engage in when we overeat, that keeps us sort of on this losing path to a fitter body.
Yeah.
So having fiber in there and prioritizing fiber along with protein, I think protein is incredibly important for supporting those workouts we just talked about. But fiber and protein, fiber and protein, fiber and protein, those are the two most important things I could stress for people who are trying to make a dent into a poor nutrition plan right now, or even a good one that's not ideal.
Right.
And right there, you're looking at around 30 to 35 grams of fiber.
Okay.
Right. And we talked about protein requirements before, ideally trying to hit 1 gram or so, 1.2 grams per pound of body weight.
Okay.
Lastly, take omega-3s.
Oh, that's something I definitely don't do. I need to start taking those again.
Omega-3s are incredibly, it might prove to be one of the most important supplements of your lifetime.
Really?
Yes, and I think that there's been some sort of wavering on how important they are, and there was actually some data that was not done well. The design of the studies were horrible.
Yeah.
Omega-3s help in so many different ways, controlling inflammation, allowing your body to, again, recover. They're good for recovery from workouts because of the anti-inflammatory responses. But there's actually this new research coming out. Chris McGlory and Dr. Rhonda Patrick actually talked a lot about this, about their impact on testosterone levels in men as they age. And as a matter of fact, it might be the most anabolic supplement someone can take, particularly as they age.
Really?
So someone like me, that interests me because my father, again, a physician who's long believed in the benefits of omega-3s, I've been taking them for 20 years.
Yeah.
But I do really have my eye towards the research now because I see how important that could be for maintaining muscle mass. And as we talked about before, the maintenance of muscle mass in the, if you can, additional muscle mass that you can gain is going to be critical as you get older for having a higher quality life.
Okay.
So there are easy ways for you to lengthen your lifespan, and importantly, not just that lifespan, but the health span and the quality of your overall health.
Yeah, because I don't want to be 90 and be decrepit.
Exactly, because I mean, you're already 30 and half decrepit. Right. if you're looking to change these things, guys, again, very easy ways to do that. If you're looking for a training plan, like we talked about, with all that nutritional support and plan, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X.com. Also have omega-3s over there too. Meantime, if you found this video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. If you want to see more like it, also tell me that. If you haven't done so, click subscribe, turn on your notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.